Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the worst reviews ever. Today you got the sophisticated jerk and amazing in here. So the movie that we're going to review today is the new movie that's on Netflix, Counterattack. So let me go ahead and pull up the slides on this one. So Counter-Strike, also known as Counterattack, is a 2025 Mexican action film directed by Shava Cartas and written by Jose Ruben Mendez. And I'm going to be easy with some of these names because I'm definitely going to butcher some of them. So y'all bear with me. All right. So the plot on this movie is when a Mexican army officer saves two hostages, he and his team of special agents find a graveside full of cartel victims, making their squad the target of a drug cartel leader who'll stop at nothing to silence them. So, all right. The directors and the producers on this movie, again, directed by Shava Cartas, produced by Francisco Gonzalez, Compian, and Sebastian Gerardo. I think I got those ones right. You think I'm off? But all right. So the cast on this movie: Luis Alberti as Armando, the captain of the squad; No Hernandez as Joe Fesso, the cartel; Leonardo Alonso as Damaso, part of the Armando squad; Luis Carrell as Polo; David Leon as Combo; Guillermo Nava as Toro, definitely butchered that one; Mara Batala as Lucia, the lieutenant; and Isabel Batista as La Cobra. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the trailer real quick, and then we'll go ahead and we'll jump into the rating.
Problem. You see? Come on, get inside.
Let her go.
What you got there, man?
Leave my daughter alone.
This isn't our problem. You're seeing what I'm seeing.
What the hell are you doing in that corner? Let her go.
And that GI, he's not just any soldier, Roman. He's from Special Forces.
He's a Murcielago.
When it comes to Murcielagos, the only way they can be killed is from behind.
We're taking you guys to get towards it in La Barda.
There's a diner where they're so tasty.
Hey, no. Even better, how about those stuffed crabs?
Counter-Strike.
That's 12! 12! Report, everyone good?
Oil standing, Captain.
Toro standing! Tank standing! Combo
I
standing!
knew exactly where we were. There will be lots more where they came from. And they'll get here before any kind of help arrives.
Bring me to those.
Lieutenant, our identity is compromised. We're at a disadvantage.
The dogs are on their way.
How you doing, soldier?
Ready for what's next, Toro. Nobody gets left behind. We go in together, we get out together.
I don't know how long we can hold them off.
Toro, you gotta have faith. That's what they trained us for. We have to be ready for anything.
Everybody going!
Combo!
Report!
All right. Had to make sure I grabbed the English version in the trailer. So, but all right, let me go ahead and pull the slides up with the rating. So amazing. We're gonna start with you first. What's your rating for the movie?
I'll give it a 6.
Okay, so she's in between average and good with her rating. Casey Fred, you missed the beginning when I was butchering the name, so you were smart for coming late on that one. He's probably like, hey, he gonna butcher this. Let me fall back a couple minutes and spare him the laughter.
Oh, yeah, I'm going with a 6.5.
Okay, 6.5. Shout out to Casey Fred. He's in a good territory. And it's funny. I'm a 6.5 also. I thought it was good. You know, definitely a good film. Yeah. So we going to Miss Amazing first on this one, since she is the outlier. Why the disrespect?
See, I gave it a 6 because I mean I just overall liked I just overall thought it was good. I liked the I liked just I thought it was like action throughout, but it also had just that piece with kind of like real life what's going on now when you see, you know, just like how violent like the cartel is, and you know it starts off with this mass grave in the desert with these two mother and daughter duo just going somewhere, and literally the cartel was hunting them down just to make sure they kept their mouths shut. So Armando, he was, I guess during his off time he was at this bar, which is how he got involved and saved the ladies. So I liked the how it was like the mother daughter relationship, and then it had the cartel, and they were kind of all intertwined together with also the army special forces. So I just thought I didn't think there was too much going on, and I thought that each of those little kind of storylines just intertwined very well together. So that's pretty much plot and storyline. Again, I just like the way it had its own focus areas, but again, they all did intertwine perfectly with real life stuff. And I also thought all the characters had really good chemistry with each other. So from the special forces group, where they kind of just seemed like a really tight knit, as well, with like kind of like their brotherhood, and then just kind of that elite service group where they kind of really went in to take care of business. Scenes and actor and actresses performances that stuck out. I liked a lot of the action scenes. I didn't think it was like too over the top. Where you just like see stuff that, you know, just like, so I liked that piece. I liked that they were stuck kind of in that mountain, that mountainous range, and having to kind of go through that. And then they come across, the cartels, you know, I don't know kind of if it's considered a safe house, whatever they call it. There was a couple things I didn't exactly think lined up, like even when, the military squad was being tracked by the telephone. I felt like they were a little late in the game to figure that one out. Like they should have known right away when they're in that mountain, like how these people are finding me in the mountain is obviously because somebody's got the electronic on them, most likely a telephone. So I did think that was just that could have been sooner. I feel like for as elite as they were, they would have known right away, like, okay, it's a phone, it's a watch, it's something they're tracking us with. I really liked Boyo's character. I just thought he was a kind of, you know, go lucky, funny, good character. I was sad that he died. I wish he would have lived at the end. And I swear he was just getting one thing after the next happening to that poor young man. But I did think it was kind just the way they had like the Boyo, and then was it Toro? Was that the older man's name? But the younger guy, the older guy, you know, how they kind of bickered with each other, and they had that kind of almost like father-son relationship. And then they were the two that died. I also like the fact that on the cartel side, you had La Cobra, who was in charge, you know, like she was a beast on their side as well. So I just thought that was kind of a good dynamic the way that went. If I was a producer of the movie, what would I change or do differently? I would have let Boyo live. Would have definitely changed that. That's probably it. I liked the way they came across the ladies again, because I knew that wasn't going to be the end of it. So as soon as I saw that house, I knew the mother and daughter, I cannot think of their names, but I knew they were going to be in that house. So I did like the way they kind of, you know, they came across them again, and it was like pulled you back into that piece of the story. And then they also helped fight to get out of there. So I liked that as well.
All right, I'll go before I toss it over to Casey. Fred, I got some pushback. Nah, so what was my rating? It's 6.5, good territory. So I thought the movie was good, man. I definitely liked it. And the reason I gave the movie that rating, I'm a big action movie buff. Plus I do like I say like military type movies. So I definitely like the fact that they showed the different dynamics, like what Amazing was breaking down. It's like, man, you had the cartel, you also had the Mexican military and stuff like that was involved, and seeing how they kind of play out in, their country, those different dynamics, and how there could be some corruption sometimes, with levels at top. So I really like the plot in the movie on this one. Also, I liked all the actors in this. I thought it was, I like movies where they have like homegrown new talent. So it was good just to see, international movies, and I think they did a great job on it, with the acting. So I definitely like that. I think the characters actually played a good part, all except for the La Cobra. They could have left that out. That's gonna be my change. But I do like the plot because it showed like, hey, a lot of people was willing to turn their head, but the one captain, he was like, nah, I'm gonna, kind of step in, and he kind of everything spiraled out of control just because he was doing the right thing, because he could have easily been like, you know what, y'all get to toss a little bit of bread on my side and I'll turn my head. But it just showed like his level of character. But at the end, it definitely did put his team in harm's way for doing that. So it kind of had that also another plot where it's just like, hey, do the right thing, even though there might be some consequences with that, still rise above. He was like the Mexican Liam Neeson out there and stuff. So yeah, I definitely love the action in it. I like how it was like a simple movie that didn't need a lot of special effects, because it was like more realistic, with like, I'll say not war scenes, but how firefights actually break out. So they didn't have no crazy stuff. It was just mainly like people snipers, good shots, in a forest line. So I like those movies a lot where it's kind of realistic versus like people shooting around corners and stuff, with all the special effects. So it was very simplistic with that. But, I like the chase type movies because, like I said, they just had that real feel to them. The scenes that stuck out, definitely when they got in the forest line and, they kind of had to start being a little strategic and using some tactics out there. So I like how they had that set up. Then I like how, my boy was a sniper, so he was taking them out. But, they still got overran. So that's why I'm saying I definitely like the few of those scenes. The house scene was definitely tough. Because, yeah, they were shooting that house up. That house was it looked like it was about to fall over after a while, because they was like letting off all kind of shots. So I was like, shh. But I thought it was a good scene because, like I said, it was still simple, and then it didn't have like a ton of, special effects. Because at first, when they was carrying them big cases, it's funny because Amazing was watching it, and she was like, I wonder what they got. And I was like, man, they probably got rocket launchers. So I like the fact that they did have him, because, it would have been like, then they could just blown the thing up. But they had like the different machine guns that kind of tore the house up, but didn't do too much damage. So that's what I'm saying. Whoever like was directing this did a smart job. Like, okay, yeah, we can't go over the top, because I would have had some bazookas and we would have been in a wood line like, shh, move me over. Like, so I like how they kind of played it out. And like she said, they had the females in there. So if I was the director or the producer, what would I change or do differently? I would have kept La Cobra in there, but I would have had her running shit. She would have been like a glorified side chick on a team, like that carries guns, but she would have been like the person running the show. Because it's funny because like she kept on having those like one-liners. You little punks, she'll have those where she's all talking tough, and these guys are like mercs and stuff. It's like, man, if you don't stop. And then I'm kind of glad what's his name, Boyle or Polo?
Polo.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad he did leave, but I mean, when he get shot like 4 times, stabbed, he was like a bullet magnet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wish they would have probably like just let him go. Since it was his birthday, he would have ended up drunk nowhere. He wouldn't even came out there because every time I turn around, he got something going on. I'm like, man, they better just leave Polo behind. So yeah, Polo kind of slowed it up a little bit. So yeah, there was only those 2 changes. I liked them in certain situations because at first it showed like he was definitely a tough guy, but I'm like, dang, man. Every time I turn around, he gets stabbed and something happening. He's twisted the ankle. So I'm like, Polo's slowing down the operation. They might need to leave him behind and bounce him out of there. But no, other than that, I definitely would recommend this movie to everyone. Like I said, I like the action. Shout out to Mexico, man, making a good movie. I love seeing international movies. So I'll go ahead and toss it over to KC for.
What's up? Yeah, I definitely concur and agree with you, Jerk. I thought this was a great.
Did you put the English audio on this time?
Hey, I finally pushed that button because as soon as I saw and I said, "Oh no!" And I said, "Pause," and then let me look for it and let me get this. I want to hear them speak English and I want to be able to see the subtitles. So I had both up there so that way I could catch everything because it was action packed. And so you're talking about special forces going against a whole mass of people. And it was crazy because they were picking up equipment along the way. It wasn't like they was all geared up and, close to base or any of that. In fact, they was far from it. And it was supposed to be their day off. And they were supposed to go get tacos. And that's when they got ambushed the most. And it was two brothers that all of a sudden was mad at Captain because they felt like he was the one that had killed their father back in war. So there was a lot of, you could tell, revenge and vendetta that was going on, but the action was packed from the beginning. I mean, they showed you just firing off all the way down to the end, and you just didn't know who was coming around the corner or what they was going to do to try to escape because it was one adventure after the other. So I love action. This was action packed, so I was all about it. And then, like you said, this was an international movie. So at the end of the day, hey, I was all about that right now because, I'm right now all about international all weekend because my Chiefs, by the way, if you didn't know, are in Brazil. So, I mean, hey, so I was all into it and stuff. Had plenty of nachos to be able to last, but really, this movie wasn't even that long, to be honest with you. And it wasn't like one of those where there was any dead time. It was just a bunch of killing and a bunch of fighting. And at the end of the day, they had, like you said, they usually had to use their brain, their smarts, their intellect. I love the scene. Like, would I recommend this? I definitely would recommend it to everyone. The storyline as far as all of a sudden revenge, there was two brothers that was going after this captain and his crew because, like I said, like you were talking about before, he stepped in on behalf of these girls that one was Lucia and the other one was Carla, which was a mother-daughter type team. And they was just, basically slapping them around. This was outside and stuff. And, Captain steps in and then kind of like what Amazing said, you knew you was going to see them again, which you did later on. And they had to step in again and take over this house. And that's actually where they were. And then that was actually their final stand that they had to go against this militia, and it was just the army kept getting bigger and bigger, but they had to, didn't know that they was betrayed by the Secretary of Mexico and over some money. It's always about money, And so at the end of the day, Secretary's like, hey, this is where they are. I got their phone and here you can have this one right here that will track them. And that's when the hunt was on. And so, like I said, he sent his younger brother, Roman, and Captain and his crew. It was only 5 guys. And you know what? I have to say, what made this movie kind of special, to be honest with you, is right at the beginning when they was getting ready to go ahead and had their day off and go to some restaurant the captain had picked and we was going to eat tacos, they took a picture of all 5 of them together. And so you was like, man, this is so cool, man. This is our time. This is our day off. We doing it. We boys and stuff. And so as you go throughout the movie, you're with them. And you're like, okay, let's get on this roller coaster and let's go. And then that's when all of a sudden they had to go against these guys who happened to be brothers. And the first one was Roman. And he brought his little squad. I think it was like 9 guys. And Captain and them, I mean, special forces, they took over, man. They threw grenades. They all of a sudden had their little guns and killed them. And so then next thing you know, his older brother, Joe's Fi or Just Fu or so. I'm not good with all the names, but he sees his brother that's dead and cries over him. And then he says, hey, you know what? We're coming after him. We're bringing the heat. And so that's when he brought his crew. He sent out Cobra, which was that female that you was talking about, Jerk. And she had a bigger crew than what Roman had. And so they're tracking them down and stuff. And then come to find out, one of the performances that I love was the captain and their crew, just 5 guys, but they decided to split up. Polo went one way, Captain went another, and the rest of them went into this cave. And I said, man, what are they doing? Why are they splitting up? It's only 5 of them. But yet that was the perfect opportunity to take out these people, because at the end of the day, while all of a sudden Polo was sniping everyone left and right, they started running to that cave, not knowing that the other 3 would be in there, and pow, pow, pow. And next thing you know, the other 3 come out alive. I thought it was really cool. It was like Amazing said, I think the older one was 10Q or something like that. And the youngest one was Polo. You had a guy named Combo or whatever, and he was like the doctor that always kept nursing them, especially Polo, because
Yeah, Polo got shot like 20 times.
Yeah, at one time, he put a stick in his mouth and he said, hey, I need you to bite down because I'm about to pack this. And I was just like, you could just feel Polo's pain, and he's a young dude. He's never been through anything like this. And then, like you were saying, this is supposed to be like his birthday or something.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is how you spending your time right now. But I mean, he was hardcore. And then there was another guy named Toro who he stayed with Polo. They was like really tight. And every time they go into battle, it was those 2, and they would talk about it. And Polo got a chance to share about his brother, which is the reason why he got into the service in the first place, because he was a fireman and he got killed in the line of duty. And so you got a chance to get some character development on a little bit of all these guys. And so you were just kind of rooting for them. And then at the very end, the part that got me was the older guy, 10Q, and Polo were the ones that end up getting shot. And it wasn't just like they got shot, like you said, Jerk, 1 or 2 times. It was several times. And you just knew they weren't going to make it, because Captain had already told them, hey, fellas, we called it in, but it's going to take a while for them to get there. And it wasn't going to be enough time. And so those cats end up bleeding out. And Polo, I think he got it the worst at the end. I think he got shot in the neck at the very end or something.
He got clipped in the neck.
Coming back from that. And so those 2 died. And so they were able to rescue those women that they was, basically, fired in there and killed those guys in there, and then stood their ground to go against the militia and basically that last villain who was Joe Fu or something like that, who was the older brother that was trying to get his revenge. And so it was just really cool. It showed you that, if you don't give up, you can all of a sudden make it. And no matter what you go through, you just got to keep pushing. And that's one thing I can honestly give to them, that these special forces guys, they didn't quit. They didn't give up. In fact, they encouraged Lucia and Carla. We were like, hey, we know you guys been tortured. We know you've been probably raped in here and everything, but hey, we're with you, and hey, we're not leaving no man behind. And it just, they felt encouraged that they all of a sudden decided to start grabbing guns. And there was a captain was like, okay, let me show you how to use them. We need all the help we can get. And so I thought that was really cool and everything. And so at the very end, it was those 3 and Lucia and Carla that end up surviving. And like I said, the helicopters finally showed up, and you saw them all of a sudden being taken away. And that's pretty much how it ended. And then they showed at the very end that same picture that they showed at the beginning of those 5 guys together. and it was just kind of like, it was really cool to be able to see such an action film and the camaraderie and the friendship and the bond that they had, that they formed. If there's anything I would change, you know me, I would definitely just, you know, it would be nice to be able to have English where the guys and their mouths kind of, you know, met together, you know what I'm saying? but it was all good though. It was all good. I took it and it was still fast. It was still action packed and it was well worth it. And so would I recommend this to anybody and everybody? Definitely yes. I mean, especially if you're an action junkie, if you're into the military and you support them, this is a good one. And like I said, that bond that they had as far as sticking together and staying with each other, and no matter what. And that was really awesome to see. So yeah, 6.5. That's what I gave it. It was really good.
I did have a couple changes because I forgot about the brother. Man, they made him kind of like dopey, like weak and stuff. The cartel, yeah, they should have made him a little tougher, man. He made the cartel look weak, so they needed to change him because the younger brother was like,
That's why he died so quick, Roman.
yeah, he was kind of a little. The older brother looked the part though. He looked, you know, he looked about it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that younger brother was like kind of a loser. And then I thought what's his name Polo was gonna end up living after he gave the whole story about the watch. I was like, oh, this little loser is gonna end up living. He gonna be one of the few ones. And all of a sudden it was like, he was like, I was like, dang. So it did have a little turn because as soon as he gave that sob story, I was like, oh, okay, it's gonna be him, the captain. That's gonna be the only ones living. Because, you know, he took all the bullets, but they ended up getting them. So I'm like, damn, that's all right. They put a little twist in here. Because I thought the medic, the guy that was like fixing everybody, patching them, I thought he was going to die. And yeah, so I had him and the other one. And then
I thought Carla was dead. Because you remember they put on bulletproof vests on them. And as soon as they came out thinking that the coast was clear, all of a sudden they shot her and she fell back. And I said,
yeah, she was like, oh shit. She was like, this shit is real out here. She came back in quick. They gave her that reality check. They were like, look.
And Polo had warned her too. He said, you may not like it until I was saying it saves your life. So it's like he forewarned her. And then I said, well, Polo, maybe you needed one on your neck or something, brother. Because and
the last change I would have made was, man, you know, the way that it like played out, because I was like, man, they got to get that secretary back. So I thought they was gonna be like somebody was gonna snipe him as soon as he came out or something. But yeah, I just cut. I was like, that wouldn't have been one change. Like they should have got payback on that the secretary for selling him out. Yeah. Especially after they had the video clips of showing him, or you know, like they turned it over to like the news where something he got busted out. So I would have liked to see that change.
Yeah.
But all right, let's go ahead. Let's go back to the rating scale. So either you're gonna go up, stay the same, or go down. So amazing.
I'm going to stay at 6.
All right, amazing. Staying at.
I do want to add, though, I actually thought it was a pretty good voiceover for a movie, personally.
Nah. It reminded me of all those Chinese films that I used to watch, and you know the mouth still moving and they're not saying nothing. Come on now. I said if it wasn't for the action, I would have been talking about these people.
I think if they have voiceovers, like instead of the like monotone voices that they use for like every movie to convert them, like they had like some slang, some black dudes do the voiceovers. Because then when they say the tough remarks, it'll be like, oh shit. Like the girl, because when she would say stuff, she'd be like punking them, you little punks, but it was like the monotone voice. It was like, yeah. So yeah, if they did it like a different, but even then, I still thought it was good. It kind of lined up a little bit, but yeah, it threw it off a little bit. All right, go ahead, Casey Fred. You're gonna go up with your rating, stay the same?
No, I'm gonna leave it right there at 6.5. It wasn't like it was like an American film where you got a lot of special effects or whatever. But I'm gonna tell you right now, it was solid, and it was definitely like a good roller coaster at an amusement park. I mean, you was on it and you watched it. There was no like, man, they could have cut that out or something like that. This was full throttle, so I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna keep mine at a 6.5 also. So I thought it, like you said, very good movie, man. I like the action in it. Shout out to Mexico producing some good films, man. So
yeah,
I'm definitely gonna check out some more.
Hey, I didn't get a chance to be able to talk earlier, so first of all, I want to be able to tell you that this all of a sudden is a new hoodie right here, and this is by Casey's own Lower Land Real Estate LLC, and she is a very loyal fan of not just Kansas City,
Shout
but
out to
also
Laura
the
Lynn.
Chiefs. So I want to make sure I gave a shout out to, and then also everybody, my KC crew, and all those that went out to Brazil, and those that are going to be watching tomorrow on NBC and YouTube. I want you guys to know, hey, KC, that's where we at. So we starting it off, kicking it off strong against the Chargers tomorrow. So very excited about that. So I just want to give a shout out to all you guys that are supporting the Chiefs. Go KC.
Boo the Chiefs.
That's why Wally ain't here. He didn't want to hear, but you know what?
Wally's like, I need a break now.
Anyway, baby.
But all right, y'all. Definitely shout out to Casey Fresh. Shout out to everybody. And yeah, keep tuning in and let us know what y'all think. Peace.
Peace.